Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday, the 28th of February. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you're all very, very well. We start a new week. We will be looking for a change of fortune. And we are going to start our week on Wednesday solely at Kempton Park. I've got 4 races, 5 horses. It's a split leg Yankee to start us off. 8.50 is the stake. Expectation is it's going to be another quiet week. I mean, February's generally been a bit quiet. So we just take our chances where we can get them, but clearly on a bit of a downward run. We're slightly worse than where the run was at the start of last year. January we had a mixed month really. We had some good points in January and then it tailed off, and then February has just been an absolute killer. Really poor month. Strike rate, profit and loss, whatever way you look at it, doesn't matter how you did the selections in February, you would not be looking rosy off following anything I've been doing in February. The long term history of channel is what it is, and if you're new to what I'm doing, that it is part of the game, right? So I'm not promising anything. I never will promise anything on here. But what I have got is a long-term strategy. So trying to make profit in the long term. That means in the short term, you will lose on more days than you win. Generally, you might lose more weeks than you win. The aim is to win more months. Should be winning more months than we lose, which has been okay for the history of the channel. But you do get absolute dire months like I've experienced in February. I think genuinely, if I look across, at people I know and people I see, I think people who pick on value and prices have generally struggled this year and February in particular. If you're more of akin to backing a few shorties, you'll absolutely have had some nice days, I think. There isn't many big prices popping up in places. There was a few Tuesday night, interestingly enough, and some of them were definite drifters as well. And so the ones you are picking up, or they are going up, they can all definitely be drifted. An example, I think, was it Spartan Fighter, I think Southwell, that one on Tuesday night, 10-1 the night before, 20-1 was the SP. Lots of those sorts of things popping up, getting some just a little bit inconsistent results and things going funny and whatnot. But is it a moment in time and then we'll get back on track? Is it that I just lost all sense of my mind and I'm putting up awful things? Is it that I can't read them anymore? Is it that the game's changed? Who knows what the answer is? The only way to find out is if I carry on making videos and I carry on recording the stats and you follow along. You don't have to back them with your own cash. That is true to say. So we haven't got loads on this video. We've got review of Saturday. There was nothing. Saturday, Sunday. There was a horse on Sunday on those bets. Review Saturday, Sunday. Nothing in the comments Monday. We had one horse Tuesday, which didn't look like Cam Hardy tried. That was my view of it. I mean, some would say the horse wasn't good enough, but yeah, didn't ride the horse to try and make a frame. I wouldn't have said, but there you go. And then what have we got? Then we've got Wednesday's bet, and then the only other thing I was going to mention was Champion Hurdle, because there's been some change in the Champion Hurdle market, and we have got an interest if you've been following the anti-post selections in that race. And then literally, I'll do it now. Outlook for this week said it's going to be quiet. I think Thursday there's a few more meetings, but not big field sizes. Friday's marginally more interesting, and Saturday definitely is going to be the better day. But we're just generally finding field sizes are not quite there. Sunday looks potential, I would say that. And then it's been quiet, and now we're in that sort of just before Cheltenham period where it does get even quieter. So yeah, we'll take our chances as and when we can find them. That's what I'll certainly be doing. And they mentioned the golf. I went early on the golf. I put it up in a comment on the video from yesterday. So yeah, if you want the golf, it is still pinned to the top of the previous video to this. So whatever that was, the Saturday video, the golf's on there. 3 selections in the golf. And I've gone for some biggie prices this week. There's a couple of 1,250 to 1,150 to 1, and 190 to 1, something like that. All different bookmaker advisory. So review Saturday, Sunday. No good really. What did we do? Was it yeah, where are we? Yeah, we had this. That race fell apart as a betting heat, and that horse was much shorter but no good. Tommy Bow drifted 18s. We only had 9s on the channel, and then there was nothing with it. That horse was well backed in, as I thought it might be, but ran a stinker, and those were no good. So that really wasn't very good. The winner bet was not a winner. 2 seconds and a not very far, not close at all. And then it was this Riyadh race. We started off well with the flat stuff. So Lala Christine placed, no good. And then Benevente was a nice winner, but there wasn't much counting on that, certainly not from a win perspective. So not a lot back there. Of the big prices, we had Byline, the same race as Lala Christine, that place. There were second and third, both fast finishers, but then couldn't get anything with it. And then, so yeah, the combo double was a really nice start. 16s and 50s, second and third, and then nothing to go with it. And then no good. So it was 25 on 962, I think it was off the top of my head. So all in all, another not good week. So I think it was about minus 32, I think, last week, which puts us on over the minus 170 mark. So minus 8.5 days stake is where we are currently sat, with 2 days of February left. So we'll have an interest Wednesday and Thursday. So we need it to be pretty special. Statman Stephen King, his view is on the data he pulls, we're due to drop a few £100 win at some point. That's how I would read it too. But variance, just because you're due, well, I always say we could be due. I would say we are due, but we're not owed anything. We're never owed. But sometimes we're due, statistically speaking, and that's where we're at. But I mean, we've been really far off on the variance. So yeah, we've had, a bit like on a flight. It's the turbulence has been pretty rocky in the last few weeks. So let me just spin through this bet. So this is the bet for Wednesday. So I had a little look at the jumps. There was one horse I was umming about, but I've just gone with the Kempton stuff. So 6 o'clock, it's 3-year-old only race, but Guns and Flowers has caught my eye at price. So I wouldn't be looking at the race generally speaking, but I think at price, Guns and Flowers is worth taking at 28s. Then the 7 o'clock Arctician, which we've taken before, 8s. 8 o'clock's only a 7 runner, and there's not many bookies at all paying up 3 places at the moment, but I still think 7 runner 2 places. Macaulay's Tavern's a good bet at 15-2. Then the 8:30 split legged it. Where's Tom 17-2 and Total Lockdown 25-1. 2 times 10p each way Yankees. So one Yankees got the first 3 with Where's Tom. The next one's got the first 3 with Total Lockdown. And then 2 50p each way singles, Guns and Flowers and Total Lockdown. And then 3 50p win singles on the other 3. So we're going to cover the singles on all 5 on this one. And then usually you would expect me to put the leftover bit to round it up to the nearest 50 pence on the 2 big prices. But I've actually decided, it's one of them occasions where I think the forecast is absolutely viable to do on that 8:30. I've got 2 horses that I like. I could actually see from a form read, I could see those 2 coming out ahead of the other 7 runners, a 9-runner race. You've got a slightly odds-on favourite, which I think is too short. I can see how it's the favourite, but it's too short. It gives you a bit of value up the rest of the market. So yeah, I think that's worth having a try. And I'd rather put my forecast, my extra bit of my 30p each way reverse forecast. So if you're unfamiliar, that's basically on that 8:30. Those 2 horses, 30p reverse forecast, they need to finish in the first 2 of the 9. And if you do, we get a return. If one of them does and one doesn't, you don't get anything. So you both 2. Very, very tricky bets to do. I don't do them very often, but that 8:30, I think that's viable. In terms of, from a pricing point of view, you've basically got 8.5s and 25s. So, if you just ballpark rough maths, if the prices didn't change, the forecast to pay about £200 on that, roughly speaking. Probably be a touch more than that. If the prices get shorter, that money would go down. But for £200 return, for 30p reverse forecast, you'd get about 60 quid for that back. Probably nearly 70 quid, somewhere in that range at those prices. That's not to say how much the forecast would return. That's based roughly off how the market looks now, as it's not a precise science, but that's roughly how I would read it and work it out. So for 60p investment, it's in essence equivalent to around about 100 to 1 that would come in. So I think the chances of those two being the first two home are significantly less than 100 to 1. If that makes sense, that's roughly how I work that out. Because I can absolutely argue the case how those two could finish ahead of anything else. So 850 is the bet. Sky are best on 2 races. They're 4 on 2 of them. No one else has got any extra places. So if you're not using Sky, then if you've got a bog bookie, use a bog bookie. Otherwise, everybody else is standard terms as far as I can see on those races. So that is the one and only bet for Wednesday. That's that. And what else are we going to do? Cheltenham Anti-Post. So Cheltenham Anti-Post, as most people who are following racing would have seen today, Constitution Hill did a prep run at the weekend and scoped dirty. So basically means potentially got some sort of infection, needs some antibiotics. So there's an absolutely real chance now Constitution Hill might not run in the Champion Hurdle. So the markets all went in all a bit of turmoil. And at one point, Constitution Hill, you could have backed it today, slightly odds on, which I think that's giving away money on a non-runner no bet. Now, clearly it's gone back now. It's about 4 to 6, 1 to 2, and given it's doubtful, even in non-runner no bet, if it turns up, there's a question mark about its full fitness. So I think that's probably where the price is right now. But at point where it went odds on, where you could have got maybe 6 to 5, 5 to 4 in place of that kind of stuff, that would have been a decent bet, non-runner no bet earlier. As far as channel interest, if you've been following the channel anti-post stuff, of the 5 horses put up anti-post, one of them was in the Champion Hurdle, which was Not So Sleepy. So at the time we put that out, it was 25 to 1 3 places. Best price you can get now is 12 to 1 3 places, which, by the way, for a 12-year-old who's ridden in the race 3 times and never come better than 5th, is an outrageous price on paper. Just shows you the quality behind everything else. Now, it's 12 to 1 and we've got 25s, right? So you can look at face value and go, that's a bet that's in a nice place right now because the odds are much shorter. If Constitution Hill runs, that horse is going to get much bigger. I'm not actually looking at that thinking, I'm sad about Constitution Hill, but I'm not thinking that's really great news from a betting perspective, because if Constitution Hill doesn't run, I think that means there'll be more horses that could have run that will run, because whilst Constitution Hill and State Man are running, most people would suggest those are going to come in the first 2 places, and so you're fighting for at least third placed at best. And I think a lot of trainers wouldn't send their horses for that. But if Constitution Hill doesn't run, and then you've just got State Man, although State Man's going to be massive strong favourite, because it's such a valuable race and it's such an open market beyond those, particularly if, as predicted, Lossiemouth goes to the Mayor's Hurdle and Irish Point goes to the Staters, there's definitely a question. I would say there's a little sneaky thing in me. I wouldn't back Irish Point, but Irish Point it's this thing about Irish Point and the Stayers Hurdle, and you've got Tihupu, both with the same trainer, both the same ownership. Will they both go in the Stayers? There's a question mark on that. So you could argue Irish Point could, particularly now, Elliot might think, well, maybe I will run Irish Point in the Champion Hurdle. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, our bet on Not So Sleepy looks like a good bet, but I'm not counting my chickens, because I actually think, even though Constitution Hill is out potentially, it means the rest of the field might get bigger. Hopefully that makes sense. That is that. I mentioned the golf, but 3 golfers. There's 2 in the European Tour event, which I think is South Africa this weekend. I can't remember the geography of it. I think it's South Africa. And 1 over on the US Tour. That's where I've landed. Just 3 little interests on those. Anything else I was going to cover? Tips the league stuff. I'll be doing Tips the League tomorrow night, so I'm ready to go this week. I've got it all done. What I can say is, with the Tips the League stuff, it was a really, really low scoring week, but like worst scoring week we've had possibly ever, but certainly this year, only 7 people made a profit. And interestingly, this is really good stats from Stephen about this. So in January, every week the Tips League happened, if you blindly backed everyone's selections, all of them, to the same level stake and to SP, you'd have made a profit every single Saturday we did the Tips League in January. 67 people's selections, if you backed them all blindly together, you'd have made a profit. February, you'd have made a loss every single week. And I think that's testament to kind of something what I was suggesting earlier about February's been a bit of a funny month. So nobody in the Tips League combined, yes, people have made some money. Like, so there was a few people that have made a profit in February on the Tips League. But the combined selections for everybody in January would have made you profit every week, and in February you'd have made a loss. So yeah, I think just an interesting stats perspective. So what I'll do tomorrow night is we'll go through leaderboard for last week for the Tips League, overall leaderboard since the start of this calendar year, and we'll also be announcing, or I say well Stephen knows too, but the February winner. So the invisible trophy will be going to whoever is the February winner. So we'll do the top 3 for February overall. But hasten to add, given it was such a low scoring week, the leaderboard has not dramatically moved much this week in the top 10 overall. So you can probably guess who might be top still. I think that's it. I think I was going to say. I will leave it there for now. Yeah, sorry, my head's gone a bit fuzzy. I thought there were some other things I was going to say, but I don't know what they are. So I'll leave it there. I'll be back. Yeah, tomorrow night will be a late upload, but I will do the Tips League tomorrow night. And then we'll see timings, how the rest of the week pans out. But come on, Kempton, come on! We need a little bit of Kempton magic. We've been waiting for a bit of Kempton magic. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what we all need in our tank. 5 places, 3 winners, something like that. Kempton, can you try and sort that out for us on a cold February Wednesday night? We'll see. 2 days of February to go, but it ain't looking great for the stats from a February point of view, is it? All right. That is me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.